Yeah, it's the Archivest, y'all, interviewing Bukue One.
What's up?
Yeah, what's good? So who is Bukue One?
Bukue One is a skateboarding, graffiti writing MC, basically. That's the main stuff, but that's pretty much what it is. Skateboarding, strike bowling, graffiti writing MC.
And what are some of your biggest writers that you've worked with and also done pieces with?
Dream TDK, which is one of my mentors, rest in peace. Kent from Germany, Joker Persuade from San Diego. Let's see. Wow, it's Revoke from AWR. MSK, those dudes are insane. And Giant, he's a big tattoo artist and graffiti artist too. Those are some of my faves.
And tell us about Urban Productions and throwing up showcases for performances of hieroglyphics, Rocksteady Crew, Shortcut, and Artifacts. And how was the outcome for the West Coast hip-hop culture?
Wow, that was dug deep for that one. The first company venture that me and my buddy started was Urban Productions. And we bit off more than we could chew. The very first event we did was called Tribute to the Elements, which is a 4-day hip-hop, pro skateboarding, b-boy event with a rave at the end. And so we had the first night we had 10 different acts and Hyro headlined it, and the second day we had about 10 different acts and I think Artifacts headlined it that night. The second night we had a vert ramp in the venue contest while the show was going on. And, I mean, we just did too much. It was good. It was a good experience. We gained a lot of contacts. That's how I got into management from that stuff. We started promoting Suck, and we started into record label stuff, and then that was like eh. But yeah, that was 1997, so that was like way early. I wasn't even like officially rapping. I was the manager, and so I used to get flack from my business partners when I would try to rap and record, because they'd be like, "Well, why are you doing that? You're the manager." So that was a minute ago. You did your homework.
And how is it being a tour manager and the role representing a tour manager for headlining artists such as AC Alone from the Project Blowed?
Well, that was the first, AC and Ab were the first cats that brought me out. They actually brought me to the Northwest, the first place we went. And it was dope. I mean, you know, I like doing business, and these guys meant a lot to me. I grew up listening to them. So it was kind of like my contribution is to be able to help enhance their career by offering my business skills. And at the same time, it allowed me to open up, you know, these shows to get my MC skills up, and I got to gain all these contacts from all these promoters, so that helped spawn my booking side of things. And you know, the positive byproduct is that I'm around these phenomenal MCs that, you know, are amazing, and so you just listen to these guys, you see how they write, you see how they freestyle, and you just, you know, you can't help but to get better, but being around these people all the time, you know? And you get some pretty funny stories in the car.
For sure. And tell us about the Last Starfighter and how you came up with the name and what it means to you.
Well, the Last Starfighter was one of my first little monikers, and it was, you know, loosely based on, you know, the old movie, The Last Starfighter. But basically, it was like, you know, it was a big underground we were all super underground and proud back then, and it was kind of like, you know, the Last Starfighter, one of the last UMCs, you know, of our kind that we had that wasn't, you know, interested in being a superstar. They should have making good music. Like at that time, and even so now, I don't live off my music. I live off the business. So I can really just make whatever music I want, and I don't have to get any bigger. I don't have to like headline or any of that stuff. I don't need or have any ambition other than I just like to perform for more people. But monetarily, I don't need to increase that. I'd love to, and I work to do that, but I don't live off that. So I can really just make what I want to make. If I want to make a whole 80s electro freestyle album like I did Laser Rays, I can do it. If I want to make a whole reggae type album because I love reggae, I can do that. Whereas, you know, if you're an artist who's living off your stuff, sometimes it's kind of hard to just try something different, because people are expecting you to do what you've always done, and if you're on a label, they really expect you to do what's selling. So that was kind of the Last Starfighter. Like I wasn't in that scenario, so that's kind of how that came out.
And what is one of the best hip-hop culture memories that you were part of or attended or witnessed?
Let's see. Well, just at the Paid Dues Festival, I got to see Freestyle Fellowship. All of the original members rocked their set together, and that was pretty dope. I hadn't seen that. Even though I worked with them on the business side, they weren't all in the same place at the same time really ever. So that was definitely one of them. I got to work with Chip Fu from the Fushnikins this year, or last year actually, and you know, he's one of my favorites from the times past. There was a really good time. We were in Atlanta. We did this festival, and then we went the next day and we had breakfast. And at the table was YZ, Cool Kim from UMC's, A Plus, Dell, Chip Fu, and man, there was one other. They're all from like the early era of like early '90s hip hop, which was my favorite era. Just sitting around together, talking about how it was then and how things were, you know, all that stuff. And like, as a fan, it was just bugging out. And all these dudes, you know, they're all from that era. You know, that's a trip. That was probably pretty like, wow, this is a trip right here. It's pretty dope.
And what inspires you to make the music you make? And what do you love best about the hip hop culture?
What inspires me to make my music? Well, optimism is a big focal point in my music. There's enough negativity, there's enough complaining going around to where I don't need to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the solution. I want to be a part of the light. You know, helping people remember the time when hip hop was fun, when it wasn't always so serious, when you could actually enjoy yourself without being too concerned about how you're looking, or you know, if that's accepted as cool or not. So I want to bring back that. I'm kind of like a traditionalist in the sense that I want to keep it to where it was fun and you could party, you could have a good time, you could dance. It wasn't only cerebral, depressed music. I mean, that's a big part of it. You want to talk about everything that's real to you. So a lot of rappers, you know, they use their MC pulpit to talk about how their life sucks or how hard it is. That's cool, but that's not me. My life, I like my life. I enjoy my life. I'm happy. You know, family's good. People are healthy. Mom is doing her thing. You know, so it's like I rap about that. Plus, you know, graffiti writing and skateboarding are a big part of my life, and I don't feel they were talked about or covered as much as I would have covered it, so to say. So I guess instead of waiting for somebody to come and do that, I just decided to become that. And, you know, so that's pretty much the main deal.
And what was your favorite tour that you've done with other artists in the history of Buku One?
Favorite tour that we did, the tour I put together, was a Cali Com. It was Dell, Haiku d'Etat, which is AC Lone Abstract Group, Mike and I, Zion I, and myself. And that was like one of the first tours that I actually put together the lineup, the whole lineup. And you know, everybody knew everybody already, everybody got along. At the end of the show, we had an encore where everyone would be up and freestyle, and like we'd have Amp Live playing the MPC. We'd have our DJ Zach doing cuts, we'd have DJ Drez doing stuff, and it was like, we all knew each other, so it was never any like uncomfort. Sometimes on tour, when you're out with artists you don't know, sometimes it goes great, other times it's not as smooth as you'd like it to be. So that was definitely a high moment for sure.
And you have any new projects to be released or collaborations coming out?
I have a ton of music that's probably new to 80% of the people, because like I said, I spend most of my time focusing on taking care of my artists, so that, but the downside is that I don't promote my music as much, so it's not everywhere. But I have an album called Laser Rays. I have an album called like Raindrops. I got a new project that Dell's producing called The Black Fletch, and some other things coming up. But you know, if you go to buku.bandcamp.com, you can get all that and then some. There's probably 6-7 albums and just stuff that's not ever came out, that may or may not come out, but it's available because, you know, it's music. I enjoyed it, and maybe somebody else will.
And you got any shouts?
Just big up to all the good people at Funny Man Entertainment, Hieroglyphics Crew, you know, my man Chip Fu, Black Entertainment over in New York, the Osiris, Arnett fam, everybody good like that, you know. People, good people.
All right, thanks again.